Good evening and welcome to All for United WFC. I'm here with Benny tonight. Benny, how are we doing?
I'm good, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. So, as we mentioned last week, myself and John, we did a pre-match sort of chat and discussed team news, score predictions, things like that, and also halftime. So, this is something now we're going to be doing regularly. Obviously, myself and Ben are on it tonight. I'll be back today as well at halftime with John. Sort of assessing and discussing the first half. And yeah, something we're going to do every week. Hopefully rotate some guests. Good evening to all of those of you who have tuned in as well. So yeah, Benny, obviously team news is out. One change from last week. We've got Jackie starting in place of Kirsty Hansen. So what are your thoughts on the team news?
It's not too bad for me, mate. Not too bad. Just we need to make sure we're winning that midfield battle, mate. We need to make sure we're getting in their faces straight away. As I said, don't let them have time on the ball. Don't let them settle into the game at all. Let's play our football. Let's not play their football. I think it's a decent looking side considering we've got a couple of injury worries and that. But I wouldn't change too much from that. Really, looking at the bench and that as well. I just hopefully we could give them a good game. I mean, they're missing a couple as well, so. I'm not too concerned about that team. It looks decent to me. We need to make sure we get Tooney on the ball a little bit as well. Make sure we get the ball out wide to Tooney and Galton as much as we can. I'm assuming Tooney's going to be playing out wide by the looks of that. And make sure we're threading the balls to press as soon as we can. Let's just not delay the pass this time. Let's just try and get her on the ball as quick as we can. I don't know how you're feeling about that lineup, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, interesting for me. I mean, personally, I don't think, that Hansen did anything wrong last game, and I was quite vocal about this. I thought she was harshly subbed at half-time, so I feel that sort of leaving her out of a derby, for me, I don't know. It's one of them, but listen, I'm not disappointed with the team. It's a good team, considering, like you said, we've got, for me, 3 key players out. We've got Leslie out, we've got LJ out, and we've got Heath out as well. So I think... Yeah, I mean, like you said, you looked at the bench and it's sort of, patched up, so to speak. Good evening to John. But yeah, I think, see what we get. Like you say, I think midfield battle is massive. They've not got Sam Mewis, so that for them is a big blow. And I think, yeah, we need to be at it from the off. We need to dominate. We need to be physical. I think something that we didn't do well against Reading was we didn't match them. We kind of, like you said, played into their hands a little bit and kind of, I don't know, just completely messed it up. But I think go at it from the front foot, dominate the midfield, like you say, get press involved, get the ball to her early, get Leah running at people, and see what we get. John Fry here says, to me, it's a very high pressing team. Absolutely agree. I think, we've got to improve from that first half when we played them at LSV in the league, because we can't have another first half like we did and chucked away 2 goals. I think you give yourself a mountain to climb, especially when they're on form. But yeah, I think like you said, I'd agree. Midfield's absolutely massive. Obviously, then we're going to look at subs. Obviously, we touched about, didn't we, that bench. If you were looking then at bringing players on, would you kind of go for maybe like the youngsters, or would you kind of chuck in the experience, or a little bit of both?
It depends. Depends how the game's going. I think for me. If it's not going too well, you're looking at your more experienced players over your youth players. You're thinking a game change like Hansen could come on and change a game. Jess Sigsworth could come on and change a game. We've got Fuso on the bench there as well. But if for example, I'm not saying I'm not going to try and make myself look a fool, but if we're like 2 or 3 goals ahead and you're thinking might be time to blood a couple of the youngsters, then maybe you could chuck them on for a 10-minute cameo at the end. But for me, if the game's tight and we're needing some game changes to change the game in our favour, you're looking at people like your Kirsty Hansens, your Jess Sigsworths, your Fusos, and you can't even discount Jane Ross that's on there. I mean, fair enough, she's not seen a lot of football, but she's a very experienced player. So, and if you need a goal, chasing the game in the last 5 minutes, she's another option where you could say, look, Jane, I know you're not had a lot of football this season. Go on there and be my match winner for me. So I don't think it's it's not our strongest bench. Let's be fair. We know we've got a few injuries. However, we've still got enough players there for me in your Hansen, your Sigsworth and Fuso, and Jane Ross, and you've got Martha Harris there as well. You can't discount Martha Harris either. You've got some experienced footballers there that you need to put some game changers on the field, we should be they should stand us in good stead. I don't know how you're feeling about that bench. I know it's not the strongest, as I said, but what's your thoughts on that bench?
I think like you said, it's not the strongest. I think that's pretty much all we've got. I really do. I think, I think it was the other day, was it? Casey's press conference came out and she said Smith had got a slight ankle knock. So obviously that rules her out. But I think, John's comment there about Jess and Kirsty off the bench, I'd agree. And Fuso, just simply because of her pace, I think, we know and we've seen how sort of shaky their defence has been last, 3-4 games. They've, conceded silly goals and so have we. So I think, like the pace, the power of those three players coming off the bench could be massive. And I think it's interesting that we've put Tooney back out wide again. Casey, obviously, for me, sees something in that over, say, like I touched on before, over Hansen or over Jess. But yeah, I think it's great that we've sort of got options. I mean, listen, like we said, it's a patched up bench. But that said, we've still got 8 players on there. So, I don't think numbers should be an issue. I'm going to move on to score predictions then. So we had a few on Twitter. We had Robert saying a 2-1 win. We had Steve saying a 2-2 draw. We got there 3-2 win. So we've got a few that have sort of got, scoring a few goals, so to speak, but also conceding a few as well. What are your thoughts on score prediction?
Well, I said on Twitter when I put that original tweet out on the All4 United WFC page that I said this morning 2-0. And I'd be really foolish if I went back on myself, but yeah. I'm going to keep with the 2. I'm going to keep with the 2-0, mate. I'm confident. I'm being confident about this game. Don't ask me why I'm confident about this game today, but I've just been confident. I think even since last week, I was pretty confident about this. Yeah. Because I know we've got a few missing, but I still think that team out there is good enough to give City a really good game and good enough to beat Manchester City. We've got to prove ourselves to be, to bounce back from defeats like Reading, like we did against Chelsea. We bounced back. We've got to bounce back. And I think Casey will have had that drilled into them, all week. We've got to bounce back. Go out there, have fun. Give me the best performance you can give me. I've just got a good feeling about this, mate. I don't know about you, man, but for some reason, I've just been absolutely buzzing about this fixture for the last week or so, and I've just been really, really confident. I don't know where it's come from, but sometimes I look for it, but somebody will snap this up later and go, Ben,
No, yeah.
Mate, I ain't backing down from a 2. What do you think? John said it 1, but.
Yeah, no, I've gone the same as John. I said it on last week's show when the 4 of us sort of reacted to the Reading defeat. I said 1-1 as well. I just think, yes, I agree. We need to react from last week. We need a better performance. That said, they are on form. They won't want to lose and we won't want to lose. So I've gone for sort of the cautious approach. I know that's not ideal, but I just think if we get a point, listen, I'd be happy with a point. I think the fact that they've won 8 in the bounce and we've gone on a bit of a wobble, and like I said, the Chelsea defeat and obviously the defeat to Reading, I think puts us in a risky position. I think obviously Arsenal have got 2 in hand on us, and I think based on that, it could be that they do catch up for Champions League. I don't think they will. I'm going to stick by my August prediction of Arsenal coming 4th, but I just think we need to now just be very careful, sort of going forward in terms of form and. Yeah, hopefully put a couple of nightmares behind us. Put in a good performance tonight, like you said at the start. Dominate the midfield, and yeah, let's have it.
So it's all about that midfield battle, mate. Again, is key. It's just if we dominate that midfield battle, mate, it'll stand us in good stead. I think also if we get the ball out to Golden as much as we can and Tooney as much as we can, I think we can get Joyce down the flanks.
Yeah.
I really do. I think as long as we play our football and not their football, as long as we don't bow down to them. Do you know what I mean? Don't give them too much respect. Of course, you've got to give them a little bit of respect. They've got a really decent side. You know what I mean? But we need to play our football. We need to play the Manchester United football. We should get in their faces, mate. They don't like pressure. And I think John said it earlier. It seems to be a high pressure team. I hope it is. I hope we press them high. I hope we get in their faces. We get straight in at them. You know, don't let them have time on the ball. The one thing is that City are good at is having, you know, when they have time on the ball. If we don't give them time on the ball, I think we'll be on to a winner. And just like John Fries is there, he thinks that Jackie will be key tonight. I think Jackie will be key as well tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If we get the ball to Jackie and let Jackie dictate the play, you know, let her pick up the pass out wide or thread it through to press. Hopefully, it will bring us some luck in front of goal. You know, we get the opportunity to get a shot away. Hopefully we can stick it in the Union bag a couple of times and I don't look a fool. So I don't know where you're thinking the key battle is, whether you think it's midfield or whether it'll be a defensive, a solid defensive performance, or whether you think the key battle might be out wide if we get their full backs, pin them back. And hopefully we can score. What are you feeling? Where do you think we'll be won tonight?
It's going to be one in midfield. It really has. I think we saw last week, like I said, you know, I was very vocal on the subs, and for me that we got it wrong. And I think tonight is key. We've got to, like I said, midfield. We've got to keep Haley on the pitch for me, 90 minutes. We really have. You know, I think clinical is going to be key. I think midfield battle the most, but I think the clinicalness is going to be key. You know, if we're looking at stats over the past few weeks, we've had 15, 20, 25 shots with very little over 10 on target. I think that's going to be massive, like you say, getting the faces from the off and get that keeper tested. Keeper's not very tall either. I know Mary isn't, but just, you know, we're going obviously for our favour. So we'll look at the positives for us. But I think, you know, test that keeper, show her that what we're about, show the team what we're about. And I think a win, you know, will be massive. One, for confidence, and two, in terms of Champions League racing, that'll give us a bit of breathing space then, and we can kind of, you know, it's kind of down to City and Arsenal to battle it out, isn't it, then, for that final spot. But interesting times. So thank you to everybody for tuning in. Thanks as well to Ben for joining me. Come back again at half time, roughly about 7:45, 7:50, and we will have some first half thoughts. Cheers, Ben.
Thank you very much, sir.